And welcome to another session of Meditations with Marigny. Um, when I first started my YouTube channel, when I started doing Facebook Live, I was doing it as like morning meditations. It really wasn't just chats like I'm doing now. And that's why it was called Meditations with Marigny, just in case you wondered about that component. But I really wanted to come on for a moment, and I wanted to chat and kind of follow up to what I talked about this morning in the video Train Up a Child. And just in case people are looking, many of my videos, they will now only show up in the live feed. They won't show up under videos. I don't know how to make that change. I'm also going to have to figure out, because right now it has a thumbnail on it, which is just my picture, my profile picture. And that's what all of my lives look like. So I'll have to figure out how to try to put a thumbnail out there or something that will give you information about what we're talking about. But the long and the short, guys, I wanted to hop on while I was going to take a quick drive over to my girlfriend's house. I wanted to follow up on the conversation about train up a child in the way that they should go. So when they are old, they will not depart from it. And this morning, I kind of dropped that nugget about, teaching my son, have taught my sons about being respectful to women and things of that sort, but also putting boundaries in place for even the young ladies that they talk to, and putting boundaries in place for them, for the women that they may speak to. And then I went on and had conversations with my brother, and that boy, it's always a funny time when I get a chance to talk to him. But I was telling him about the situation with my son, and we were talking about a healthy man and men that are trying to be positive in their relationships and make sure that they are providing for their families. The sacrifices that a man will make on behalf of his family and what it is that his family needs. And I was telling him that sometimes you have to know when to say no. And we were talking in general in reference to just my son learning that, yes, you want to give everything that you can, but there are times that you need to actually say, no, we can't go this far. No, we can't buy that house. No, we can't buy that car. No, we cannot, no matter how much you want a $400,000 home, we cannot buy that. Because if the man is a true masculine man, he's going to be looking at, can I provide this for my lady? Can I provide this for my woman? And when we talk about training up a child in the way that they should go, my father taught my brother how to be a man. My father taught my brothers what manly things represented. And when I say manly things, the responsibilities of them taking care of a household. My father showed them how to work on cars. My father showed them how to build a house. My father showed them how to change the plumbing. So my brother is kind of like a jack of all trades. And, this particular brother, he can work on just about anything. HVAC, plumbing, electrical. He can do a little electrical. Most recently, he did some remodeling to his house and dropped some can lights in. I mean, man, it looks so good because it just brightened up the house in so many ways. And, I'm laughing because you have to know the men in my family. Like, they are such manly men. They are so funny, but they're comical because, they're so confident in the things that they do. And I will say, many of the men in my family, they only have a high school diploma. They don't have a degree. But they are guys who have always taken care of their homes. But there are times you get pushed to the limit. And I remember with my mom one time, I had never heard my father speak to my mother like in a tone where he was aggressive with her. And I don't know, my mama must have been, now that I'm a grown woman, I realized that she must have been pushing for something that she wanted And my dad obviously had said no that particular time, which he probably didn't say no to her much now that I see how life really is. But that time he must have said no, and she must have kept pushing. And I had never heard him talk to her like that. But I remember he said, I said no, and I mean that, and he was very firm with it. And I'm saying that because men are trained typically to give to the woman, make her comfortable, assure that she's happy, make sure that everything is taken care of for her. And that is true. That portion is true. However, I do believe in reciprocity. I believe that just like a man is giving and he's assuring that she is cared for, so should a woman be doing the same thing for him. I'm not just raising my sons so that they can go out and become doormats for someone. I'm raising them so that they can come out and have a life partner and assure that they are able to give viably to someone's daughter, and that someone's daughter is able to give to them, and they are able to build something together. So when we think about that training, my mindset is a little bit different from a lot of people who have a mindset to only take or only get or only receive. And this culture that we are living in right now, thank you guys for joining. This culture that we are living in is all about what you can get. I was watching a video earlier today, and it was a young lady, and she was she was going in. It was a review. There's a young man that I watch him. He does reviews of videos. So he'll put the video in front of him and then he'll talk about the video. And in the video, she was talking about when she doesn't have something, her friends come through, and she was calling her friends the B word, which that's never going to happen with me. I'm never going to call my girlfriends that, and I'm never going to find that a word of affection as a woman, being called that by another woman or being called that by a man. And she was just talking about, when she's with her friends, they do this, they do that, and that's why she would rather hang with them. And so the young man that was doing the review, he was saying, well, you're talking about people that know you. You're speaking of a random man that has never met you, that might be meeting you at a location and may want to offer you something to eat or something of that sort. He's not going to take care of your needs. He was like, men do the same thing for our friends. If we go somewhere and my boy don't have it, I'm going to do the same thing for him. He would do the same thing for me. And so basically what he was saying is she was not making a valid point in what she was talking about as far as a friend being there for her. And it made me think, because she looked like she was in her 20s, it made me think about what training has this child had? What development of becoming a young woman, and not just in friendship, but what development has she had as far as development of relationships? And if the blind is leading the blind and the negative is leading the negative, then we don't have a choice but to make sure that those of us that have a positive voice are speaking. And I think that sometimes people miss that component in this current society. People miss, I haven't come this way in a long time, y'all. And I hadn't been coming because they were doing construction over here. And I'm definitely glad I'm not coming this way now in the mornings, because it would be so much traffic. But people don't understand that we need a positive voice to be spoken in the earth. We need women that are truly speaking of what it's like to truly be a feminine woman, not just look like one, not just present yourself a certain way on the outside, but what are you doing to your core values on the inside? Are you making any levels of improvement? are you developing and becoming the best version of you that you could be? And that's the best version at the time of life where you are. I think that we have to look at people and understand that each one of us is different in our own way. And that's what makes us so, like, it makes us so beautiful. It makes it such a wonderful variety for us to have, for life. The bottom line is we are different. And when we embrace each other's differences, that's when we can then find positive ways to refine not just our own personal life, but our family and our world as a whole. So, somebody said, yeah, she good. You're right. And that's exactly what the young lady was saying, too. She was saying, I'm good. And the guy who was doing the review, he's a younger guy, but I like watching his reviews because I think he's very balanced. Even though I think he's like in his 30s, he's very balanced in how he gives a review. Like there are sometimes that I'm thinking he's gonna go in a different direction, and he comes back and he's like, she's correct. And then there are other times that he does. His name is Jeremy Holloway. Jeremy Holloway. That's the way he's listed on Facebook, and that's the way he's listed on YouTube, and I think Instagram and stuff too. I have those accounts, but y'all, I don't have time to keep up with all that stuff because this is more like a hobby for me than it is like I'm not getting paid. I'm not monetized, and I may not ever be because I told one of my friends, I said, there's no ratchetness on my channel. You're not gonna come out here and find nobody fighting. You're going to come out here and you're going to find me praying, or you're going to find me speaking positivity about something, or you're going to find me saying something that is to uplift people. And that doesn't sell in today's society. And then you have to be, I have learned to be comfortable in that space. I've learned that the things that I offer are not going to be the things that are going to draw money in the earth, in the natural realm. And because I'm more concerned with my spirit, man, it doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me to not have that population that's out there following me. You guys said, he said, blah, 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 she ignored the guy. Yeah, I guess. But, he did not hold back anything in reference to letting her know that, no young man, and when I think about it, I wouldn't want my son to be in a position where a woman only wants to see him for his money. I want him to take care of a young lady. I want all my sons to be responsible young men, but I do not want them being taken advantage of. And so when I speak of these things, it's even in my own vetting process, I'm not just speaking from what is best for me as a woman. I am speaking of what is best for even my mate. My future mate is going to be able to know that he has a support system in place. And I do know that men have to work for everything. I've seen these videos where they say, men want you to be mean. I don't think that. I think that men just want a woman that has some boundaries. She has some standards. She has some confidence about herself that she's not willing to bow down to any and everything just to have a man in her life. And I think that that's a different type of person from someone that is trying to make someone do something or mistreat someone in order to make them treat them a certain way. Because when you get into stuff like that, then you're manipulating. And I don't do manipulation. It doesn't work for me. I'm going to put you all the way on the back burner. Out. So, guys, I just wanted to hop back on for a few minutes and chat with you guys about that. And I appreciate y'all for joining in, for you, at least making some comments, and just wanted to sow a seed of positivity in the world. We have so much negativity that is out there. I wanted to just drop a nugget on you and say that we are going to be okay. Though it may not look like what we want it to look like, it may seem like we are going down a really, really dark path. it would be difficult for those of us that are faith walkers to believe that, when we have to believe that faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. So even though, y'all, it's a pretty rocky road. Even though I haven't seen the manifestation of what I'm expecting, I still expect for God to do it. I expect for Him to heal some marriages. I expect for Him to heal some people, that they can either be reunited or that they can unite with someone else, and they can move in a direction that is going to bring positivity into the earth. And through that positivity, we will then be able to continue to train up our children the way that they should go, so that as they are old, they won't depart from it, and they will then share that with their children. So I hope that you guys have had an awesome day. Um, I don't see any other comments that have come through. One said, "Do you with you?" You're right. I mean, each one of us have to do what is best for us, and when we do that, you find where there is peace. But I still don't agree with hurt people. There's a saying: hurt people hurt people. So healed people are not looking to hurt anyone. And people can say, "Well, I wasn't looking to hurt them," but um, when they are hurt, they will then take that same hurt that they did not appreciate that was being done to them, and they will then do that exact same thing to someone else. And that's why you have to work on yourself daily. When I see things that pop up in my life that I'm like, "Ooh, I thought I had gotten past that," or "I thought that didn't bother me anymore," or "that circumstance wouldn't agitate me anymore." When I see those type things pop up in my life, I start to work on them, because it's the little things that can cause big problems. And we don't look at the little things. I did a video a while back talking about the little things in our relationship. It's the little things that we don't talk about. It's not necessarily the house or the car or the, big ticket items that we can see. It's the little things like, "Why didn't you wash the dishes after I just came downstairs and cleaned the kitchen? And every time I come back, it's dirty again." It's the little things like, "Why didn't you put the trash can out on Wednesday?" I always, assist with that, but do you ever think about doing that? It's those type things that cause problems over a long term. And I think that that's where things are different for most people, because most people are not looking at a long-term relationship. Most people are looking at the instant gratification of what it does for me right now. And that's the difference in dating and vetting someone for a long-term relationship. I don't really care about what the right now looks like. What is it going to look like for us in 5 years? What happens if one of us has a health issue? Are you dependable enough for me to feel that we can work through that? Or if I lost my job, how do we manage that? Like, what does that look like for us? So those type things. Will you hold it down until I can get back on my feet? Many men don't know whether or not their wives can actually maintain the household if he had his legs cut from up under him. And when I say his legs cut from up under him, it's a metaphor for, metaphorically speaking, that if he did not have the capacity to provide, what would happen to that family? So, you guys, I appreciate y'all for joining. Thank you so much. Again, I haven't figured out how to, I have not figured out how to comment on my comments, nor have I figured out how to, um, what do you do it? See those comments like after the live is over. So I apologize for not responding back to you guys, but that's why, because it doesn't show it to me once the live is completed. All right, guys, I'm going to stop here and grab me a snack, and I will chat with you guys a little bit later. All right, bye.